Hey everybody, Ecto Eric here. Hope you're doing well. So today, instead of talking about toys, I want to talk about telephone. This is the kind of telephone I grew up with. Not this one, but receiver, cord, all that stuff. Now, I was born in 72, and every house that I ever knew, my house, my parent, my house, grandmother's friends, we had one phone. Sometimes you might have somebody who had another phone upstairs, but it was rare. Usually it was just one phone connected to the wall with curly cord. Now, I bought this for my wife many, many years ago, probably in the late 90s. And I don't have batteries to fire it up, but it does talk. It goes, oh, hiya, pal, answer the phone, stupid, and all that shit. And his head moves back and forth and stuff. Um, and I do have my phone from my teenage years over there as a Firebox. I can show you guys that later. But I want to talk about basically just the telephone itself. Now, so a lot of you younger folks who are probably under 20 or 20-ish, um, in the 70s when I grew up, my aunt who lived in a small town, she had it was a line called a party line. Multiple people used the same line. Your phone would have a different ring, so you knew it was for you or for your neighbor. I think she had three people on her. So her phone, I think, went ring, ring, ring. That was hers. And if it was just a solid ring, it was the neighbor's. So that means anybody, they're on that same line, they could pick up the phone and listen to you talk. Or if you need to make a phone call, you picked it up, they're talking, you'd have to hang up and wait for them to get done, or if it was an emergency, ask them. So, hey, could I make a phone call? So that was weird. We didn't have that in the city, but in the small towns, and that phased out probably mid '80s. And then they said, hey, everyone's gonna you're gonna have your own line. But that was weird. I don't know how she lived with that. But back in the day, that's what they did. Now this was styled after a rotary phone. Now this is push button, but when I was a kid, that's all we had. It was rotaries, and that even back then it sucked because it was a round circle. So in everybody in my neighborhood, in my city, their phone number started with 99. So you want to call somebody, you got to put your finger in that hole, go all the way over to the stopper, and which was, I don't drop this, which is this is plastic, but there was a metal ring right there. So that disc would go around, hit it, and go. Oh, what a pain in the ass that was! It was a pain. And there was no redial. You had to remember people's phone numbers. I probably knew 6 or 7 phone numbers. I know my parents, my house, basically. Grandma's number, my best friend, stuff like that. So we knew there was, and you had to find a payphone if you were out. If you were at the mall, you would need a ride. You had to find a payphone, throw 25 cents in it, pick it up, call someone for a ride. Or what you could do is ask for collect. They say a name, you just yell out, pick me up, and then your parents would, so you have to pay for it. Yeah, it was kind of shady, but that's what we did back in the day. Uh, and these got novelty. I remember in the 80s, my mom, she loved Snoopy. She bought a Snoopy phone with Woodstock. I don't think I have it anymore. And she thought that was the coolest thing. It was just a regular, bell phone, but it was like this, not animated. It was just a shell. But my wife loves Mickey Mouse, and I bought her this right before we got married. We were engaged, so I bought her this. And but yeah, that telephone was just a really really interesting thing. And today we take it for granted. I mean, now you can fit everything in your pocket: fan, camera, phone. Google. Back in the day when you had to research something, you had to go get your ass down to the library and go through books. And if you needed a book and it was checked out, yeah, you were screwed. You were screwed. But things like this, it's nostalgic. And then in the early, I think 1991, I had my own phone line. My parents had theirs, I had mine, and that's when I had a couple of phones. I had that Firebox I had for years. I even had it here. My wife hated it, but that's why I liked it. And then I have a Star Trek phone that's no longer working, but let me go get it. So this was another phone that I had, the Enterprise D. Right there, still tethered, so you couldn't walk very far. And over time, this thing would get all knotted up, and it was a pain. But see, yeah, that was it. And you did this for a long time. Talk to your friends, and you know, talk to your boyfriend, girlfriend for many hours with these things. There was no FaceTime. No. You want to see somebody, you had to go. You physically had to go see them. But phones really, really help everybody keep connected. There was no social media, 70s, 80s, 90s. There was nothing. So it's either you saw them in person or you call. And there was one phone in the house. Everybody could hear it. And if you had two phones, you always had to worry about somebody. You could hear it if somebody else picked up the same phone in the house. You could kind of, it was kind of like a hollow tin. If you were paying attention, you could hear it. But everybody could hear your side of the conversation. So you had to. But that didn't stop us. We chatted for hours and giggled. And, people say it was mostly girls. I did it too. I just talk to, girls sometimes. But, you know, my cousin and I, him and I are closer than even brothers. And, we didn't get to see each other a lot. So we would bullshit on the phone and stuff. So, but yeah, it amazes me, like I said, from the party line from right up until like the early 80s, sharing a phone line, that would even freak me out. When I used to spend time at my aunt's house, and how do you, she's, oh, I know the ring, and that phone she had, that phone line, it was her mother's. I think they had that since the 50s, there's not everybody had a phone. I think, 70s, 60s, 70s, most every home had a phone. Now, when I in my apartment, my first apartment, I think I had two or three phones. I had a cordless. I thought was the shit. You didn't have to deal with this. You could see how far you could take it out in the backyard. You could walk around the house. It was great. Just, but yeah, these were tethered to the wall. So you go get one of these cords, and you can see how far you can stretch it. 8 feet, 10 feet. This is a long ass cord. I could probably get 10, 12 feet out of this thing. And what's great about my generation, and a lot of you guys know, the satisfaction of slamming a phone down. You try doing it with your phone, you're probably going to break it. But that fucking great. It's the little things that I miss. The little things. But, like I said, the evolution of this is, would I go back to this? Oh, hell no. Hell no. My phone jacks in my house, we ripped them all out. We haven't had a hardwired phone, God, since I bought this house in 07. We actually still had an answer machine when I bought this house in 07. I'm going to probably say right up until, well, shit, when the smartphones come out. Yeah. Once we started getting that, I think in 2010, I think that's when we got rid of all these. We put this aside. I put the Trek one, and my favorite phone is back there. I love that. I'm gonna show you guys that in a second. I just love it. I just love it. But like I said, so let me know your memories of phones. Like, did you have a cordless? Did you have a one that was mounted at a wall? Younger generations, my kid will never know what that's like. Now you can FaceTime. This is weird. Him and his girlfriend FaceTime each other, and they'll fall asleep while they're FaceTiming. And my friend, her daughter, does the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Hey, whatever. Maybe I would have done that. Probably not, but whatever. But it's just interesting to me to talk about these old things. The old push button, but they're tactile. now everything is just screen tap. You know, you could feel these things. You know, they had to wait till you like somebody, you can crack someone in the head with a receiver. I mean, this thing, that's almost a pound. Just that. I mean, but like I said, my Trek phone, I used to like this one. But my favorite one, now this is the one I bought. I bought this from we had a family store. It was called Benny's. They had everything. They had toys, they had tools, they had tires, oil changes, and they were in business for a little over 90 years until the family decided to get out of it. But I bought this back in 92, 93, whatever it was. I was single at the time, but I had my own phone line, and this is what I wanted. So I said, mount it to the wall. You get your receiver with a cord, and then you actually could program. Get a little closer. You could program some numbers right here. So if you wanted this, that, but generally it was, and then you had a list right here. So, but yeah, this was my phone. I love this thing. I'm gonna try to actually hook this up so this lights up again, because when it would ring, this light would come on. So I'm thinking about taking the back off and seeing if I can, wire it up just to have the light on. Because, if anybody knows me, I love lights. I just got a thing for lights. Don't know why. So yeah, I mean, just let me know down in the comments below about what you guys think about telephones. And if you're old like me, share your memories. Talking to your friends and trying to not to let your parents or your siblings know, or telling your sibling to get the hell off the phone. I'm waiting for a call. I remember, my mother, I'm waiting for a call. I remember that. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below, like what you guys thought and what your experiences were. So please stay safe, keep collecting. Peace. Oh, keep those memories coming. All right. See you later.